thought for 12's Jack Dalton had always been, a man of few words and fewer illusions. His life had been shaped by the harsh realities of service. First in the military, where he handled dogs trained to sniff out danger in the most unforgiving terrains, and now in the quiet suburbs, where the only explosions were the occasional backfiring truck. But even in this supposed haven, threats lurked, not from hidden IEDs, but from the petty tyrannies of those who wielded power like a blunt instrument. It started on a crisp morning in Greenfield Meadows, a neighborhood where every house looked like it had been stamped from the same beige mold. The lawns were manicured to perfection, the mailboxes uniform in design, and the rules enforced with the zeal of a drill sergeant. Jack had moved here 2 years ago, seeking solace after his discharge. The VA had diagnosed him with PTSD, the noise in his head, as he called it, a cacophony of memories from deployments that never quite faded. That's where Teddy came in. Teddy was a golden retriever, broad-chested and golden-furred, with eyes that seemed to understand more than most humans. He wasn't just a pet. He was a certified service dog, trained to detect Jack's anxiety spikes and provide deep pressure therapy. A nudge from Teddy's shoulder against Jack's leg could pull him back from the edge of a flashback. In return, Jack treated Teddy like a partner, a fellow soldier who had earned his stripes. That morning, as the sun filtered through the leaves of the oak trees lining Willow Lane, Jack and Teddy set out for their daily walk. The air was fresh, carrying the scent of freshly cut grass and distant coffee brewing. Teddy trotted beside Jack, his leash loose, his nose twitching at every interesting scent. They passed Mrs. Gable's house, where her prize-winning roses bloomed in defiant reds and pinks against the neutral palette of the suburb. Teddy paused to sniff a patch of grass near the roses, his tail wagging lazily. Then came the backfire. A delivery truck down the street let out a sharp crack, echoing like a rifle shot in the quiet morning. Jack's body reacted before his mind could catch up. Shoulders tensing, breath hitching, heart racing. The noise transported him back to sand-swept patrols, the acrid smell of gunpowder, the chaos of combat. But Teddy was there. He sensed the shift immediately, pressing his solid body against Jack's knee, applying that grounding pressure. And then a single bark, sharp, alert, not aggressive. It was Teddy's way of saying, "I'm here, boss. Focus on me." Jack's breathing steadied. He placed a hand on Teddy's head, feeling the soft fur under his fingers. "Good boy," he murmured. They were about to continue when the front door of the house across the street burst open. Out marched Karen Jordan, the HOA president, in her signature pink floral top and visor that looked like it had been glued to her forehead. Her face was a mask of indignation, pinched and narrow-eyed, as if the world itself offended her. "Jack Dalton," she snapped, her voice slicing through the air like a whip. She crossed her lawn in quick, purposeful strides, her sensible shoes sinking slightly into the dew-kissed grass. "You cannot control that animal." Jack took a deep breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth, just like therapy had taught him. "He's a service dog, Karen." He was startled by the truck. "He is a menace," she declared, loud enough for the entire street to hear. Heads poked out from behind curtains. Neighbor Duke paused his watering of petunias, pretending to focus on the flowers while his ears strained. "He is constantly barking, threatening the peace of this community." It was a blatant lie. Teddy barked rarely, maybe twice a week at most, and always with purpose. The neighborhood was full of yappy chihuahuas and terriers that howled at every passing squirrel. But Karen had fixated on Teddy. Jack suspected it had something to do with the recent HOA audit. Rumors were swirling that Karen needed a win to solidify her position. And Jack, the quiet veteran with his dog, was an easy target. "He barked once," Jack said evenly, giving Teddy's leash a gentle tug. "We're leaving." But Karen wasn't done. She thrived on spectacle, and now she had an audience. "This is your final warning, Mr. Dalton. This community has standards." That's when Jack spotted the police cruiser rolling slowly down the street. Officers Miller and Sanchez were on routine patrol, their faces familiar from previous neighborhood calls. Karen's eyes lit up like she'd won the lottery. She waved them down frantically, and the cruiser pulled over with a soft squeal of brakes. A second unit arrived moments later, 2 more officers stepping out to observe. "Officers," Karen exclaimed, her voice laced with manufactured panic. "Thank heavens you're here. This man's vicious animal just lunged at me." Jack's blood ran cold. "That's not true," he said, his voice hardening. "We were walking away." Officer Miller, a stocky man with a perpetual look of exhaustion, sighed as he approached. He knew Karen all too well. Everyone did. "What's the problem here, folks?" Karen launched into her tale, embellishing with dramatic flair. She described Teddy as a frothing beast, straining at the leash, ready to attack. Jack stood silent, his hand steady on Teddy's head. The dog sat patiently, tail thumping uncertainly against the pavement, his eyes looking up at Jack as if asking, "What did I do wrong?" The officers listened impassively. Miller scratched his head. "Ma'am, it's a dog on a leash. He seems calm now." "Now?" Karen shrieked. "He's only calm because you're here. He needs to be put on the dangerous dog registry. He needs to be muzzled." The officers exchanged a weary glance. This was escalating into unnecessary drama. But in that split second, while everyone's attention was diverted, Karen made her move. She stepped forward, a small canister in her hand, disguised as hairspray. Before Jack could react, she aimed it at Teddy's face and sprayed. The mist hit Teddy square in the eyes. He yelped, a piercing sound of pain and confusion that tore at Jack's heart. Teddy stumbled back, pawing at his face, whining desperately. Jack dropped to his knees. "Teddy!" "Hey, buddy, it's okay." The smell was chemical, bitter, like ammonia mixed with capsaicin. Not just citronella, as Karen would claim. Rage surged through Jack, white-hot and all-consuming. He stood slowly, turning to face Karen. The world narrowed to her smug expression. "What did you just do?" His voice was dangerously quiet. The officers snapped to attention, sensing the shift. Officer Sanchez placed a hand on Jack's arm. "Sir, let's calm down." He passed Jack a saline bottle from his kit. "Flush his eyes." "She just assaulted my service animal," Jack said, not breaking eye contact with Karen. "In front of you." Miller approached Karen. "Ma'am, you can't do that. Hand over the canister." Karen complied with a scowl, insisting it was just citronella, perfectly harmless. Miller bagged it as evidence, noting the time. Later, a lab report would reveal capsaicin, concentrate, essentially diluted pepper spray. Karen doubled down. "He is the problem here, officers." "I am the victim." Jack pulled out his phone, snapping photos. Karen, the officers, Teddy's swollen eyes. He was documenting, shifting from fury to strategy. The officers took statements but treated it like a minor spat. "Animal control handles this," Miller said. "We'll forward the report." As Jack led Teddy home, the dog's body trembling, he knew this was war. Karen Jordan had no idea who she'd provoked. The rest of the day blurred into quiet fury. Jack flushed Teddy's eyes repeatedly, murmuring reassurances. Teddy endured it stoically, but his eyes held confusion that broke Jack's heart. Researching citronella spray revealed its potential for severe irritation, even psychological trauma in dogs. Jack filed an online police report, attaching photos. It felt futile, but it was a start. The next morning, escalation arrived in a white van. Animal control. Officer Ruiz, clipboard in hand, looked official and world-weary. "Jack Dalton? Report on your golden retriever. Let me guess, from Karen Jordan." Ruiz read, "The dog bit a child yesterday." The words hit like a punch. There was no child. Impossible. He was with me. No child was present. Ruiz sighed. Sworn statement from a witness. Procedure requires quarantine for 10 days. At the shelter? Jack's stomach churned at the thought of concrete. Kennels undoing Teddy's training. Home quarantine possible as he's a service dog with current rabies vax. Confined to house and fenced yard. No walks. Post this sign. He handed over an orange dangerous animal placard. But the worst, a hearing, and an emergency destruction order filed by Karen, citing history of aggression. Jack had 24 hours to submit counter-evidence, or they'd seize Teddy. 24 hours to save his dog's life. That night at 12:11 a.m., motion lights revealed two shadows at Jack's gate. HOA polo shirts, clipboards. They were posting flyers about a fake emergency pet ID ordinance. Jack filmed them. "Karen wants the whole block done," one whispered. They fled when spotted. Evidence, still dripping from sprinklers. The quarantine sign branded Jack's home. Teddy paced, confused by the lack of walks. Jack's resolve hardened. He'd attack, not just defend. First evidence. He mapped the street, identifying houses with cameras. Miller's, Mrs. Gable, corner house, Duke. 2 doors down. The Millers cracked the door nervously. "Our subscription lapsed," Mr. Miller lied, fearing Karen. Mrs. Gable sympathized but refused a statement. Her garden. She wasn't up to code. And Karen held leverage. Others were dead ends. Duke's camera was on the fritz. Another lie. Good riddance, he snarled, slamming the door. Despair mounted. Jack drove to animal control, submitting photos, lab receipt, flyer. Supervisor Kim accepted, whispering, I'm a dog person. Don't like liars. Midnight deadline for evidence. An HOA email arrived. Violations. Fines totaling $1,250. Threat of lien and foreclosure. Karen wanted everything. Dog, home. Despair nearly won, but Teddy nudged him, resetting the noise. Jack resolved. Cornered men are dangerous. He called Marcus, old unit tech wizard. Need intel. Marcus hacked the HOA server in 30 minutes. Emails revealed Karen's conspiracy, drafting false bite report, coercing assistant Sarah to sign, bullying board. But using hacked evidence risked Marcus. Instead, target Sarah, the weak link. Watching from his yard during Teddy's training, Jack saw Sarah at Karen's house. Her bichon frise, Alfie, escaped. Distracted on the phone, Sarah didn't notice. A van barreled down. Jack vaulted the fence, scooping Alfie just in time. Sarah, horrified, thanked him. Why, after what I did? Because it wasn't the dog's fault. Maybe not entirely yours. Tears flowed. She threatened my job. Mom's sick, I need insurance. I have the emails, Sarah. Coercion. But I'm giving you a choice. Live in fear, or tell the truth. She nodded. Okay. Plan HOA emergency meeting that evening. Sarah as inside woman. Meanwhile, Jack's internet died. Sabotaged. Marty, ham radio nerd, fixed it with gadgets. K2MRT out. Marcus arrived for tech support, streaming live. At the clubhouse, 30 residents. Karen and cronies presided. Vandalism outside. Red paint balloon from Karen's SUV caught on stream. Karen gavelled. Danger posed by animal at 124 Willow Lane. Jack stood. Let's discuss the bite. Name the child. Anonymous, Karen claimed. Sarah rose. No child, no bite. Karen forced me to lie. Gasps. Marcus. Live streaming, 500 viewers. Mutiny. Karen fled, blocked by Mrs. Gable. Fallout. News viral. Animal control dropped charges. Suit against Karen. 1 damages. Referral for criminal charges. Karen charged. Fled town. New HOA apology donation. Community honored Teddy. Park renamed Teddy's Park. Medal awarded. Jack and Teddy walked there, peace restored. How far for his own? As far as it takes.